Fiscal tightening will be one of the dominant forces shaping the global economy over the coming years. And the link between fiscal and trade balances matters because for some economies that have both trade and budget deficits, policymakers are hoping to hit two birds with one stone. Fiscal consolidation may actually reduce both deficits. And you have other countries such as Germany, Japan, and China, which have large trade surpluses, and they may be worried that fiscal tightening may actually increase these trade surpluses even further. So our research has found that fiscal policy has a large and long-lasting effect on the current account. If a country cuts its budget deficit by 1% of GDP, the current account typically improves by about 0.5% of GDP on average. And this effect isn't short-lived. The improvement in the current account persists over the next 5 to 7 years. And the improvement in the trade balance comes in two ways. One is that imports tend to fall because consumption and investment are lower, but also exports tend to rise because the exchange rate tends to depreciate following a fiscal tightening. So in cases where the exchange rate is fixed, which is the case for countries in the Eurozone, for example, or where monetary policy can't be reduced, which is the case in many advanced economies where interest rates are close to zero, what we found was that the current account improves by as much, but it happens in a more painful manner. What happens is that economic activity falls by more in these countries, and the depreciation occurs not through the exchange rate, but via a compression of domestic prices and wages. This is a process that's often referred to as internal devaluation. So when many countries are tightening at the same time, as is the case at present, what matters is how much fiscal tightening a country is doing relative to everybody else. So let's look at emerging Asia first. The region is planning to tighten fiscal policy, but by less than the rest of the world. As a result, that will help bring down the region's large trade surplus. Moving to the US, much of the improvement in the fiscal balance in the US is coming from exit from stimulus and not progress on bigger ticket items such as entitlement spending. As a result, fiscal policy is not likely to help the US reduce its current account deficit.